Didn't I tell y'all when you a public figure, people think they own you? They think they can say anything to you, like they round here paying a goddamn bill just because you hit the play button on your YouTube. People think they can do anything to you. And as soon as you don't go with their program, child, ooh, you're public enema number one. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, brothers. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's looky will be our Camila Flowers. We got them in black and white. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, baby, we wrapping this up. Because you know we got that Jennifer Lewis book waiting in the wings for us. Let's continue talking about Richard Pryor, prior convictions, and other life sentences. The official autobiography. I already knew most of my family weren't too fond of Jenny. They sensed she had the grit and determination to help me pull away from them, and they feared that more than anything, mine was a family of survivors. They enjoyed my fame and fortune. They were extremely happy that I'd made a better life for myself. But at the same time, they felt that my success also entitled them to a better life. Oh, look at my little new booby trying to poke out at you. So when Jenny and I settled into Mama's, they made sure that I knew my place. Mama served soul food. Uncle Dickie started a poker game. Cousins, aunts, and uncles and friends of theirs appeared from out of nowhere. The hours passed. Jenny went to bed. Dickie arranged for women to come by. The sun rose and they started the same shit all over again. I could only take so much. Then I burst. I looked at Mama, at the others. I was famous. The New York Times loved me. I lived in a mansion with a swimming pool and tennis courts. I bought some of these people their homes, paid their mortgages, given them cars. None of it mattered. Suddenly, I was crying like a baby. You never loved me, ever, since I was a little boy. You wanted me to be a pimp. I couldn't do it. At 38 years old, I was crying the tears they never let me cry. Let me be who I am, goddammit. You want me to be like all of you, stuck here in Peoria, doing nothing with your lives. Mama tried calming me down. And you took me away from my mama, I continued. I loved her. Didn't you know that, Mama? A few hours later, Mama got me one of her hordes and left Jenny alone with her guitar to sing the blues. When I tell you the message in all of this, that's why men's head is messed up. That's why Richard Pryor's head is messed up. Remember I told you some men's heads be broken and the only thing that can fix it is vagina? Well, because Richard Pryor was in his feelings and he was hurt, his grandmother, decided to give him some vagina. That was the drill. a tug of war. I apologized to Jenny, and we went back home to LA. Then something happened inside me. One summer night, Jennifer and I were driving home from a dinner party at my friend's house when I abruptly turned the car around and drove to the Comedy Store. I hadn't been there for months, but when we arrived there, I waited my turn and then climbed on stage and ended a long drought between stand-up performances. Bonded by a great sense of purpose, me delivering the best comedy of my career, Jenny and I became inseparable, even dependent on each other. Jenny picked out my clothes, she dressed me in Armani suits, and made sure to stick a gardenia in my jacket lapel before I went on stage. She sat in the back of the Comedy Store and took notes. In the morning, we ate breakfast by the pool and critiqued and honed routines that became the heart of my concert movie, Wanted, Richard Pryor, live in concert in comedy perfection. The year closed on a dark note. At the end of December, my grandmother suffered a severe stroke. Gravely ill, she didn't appear long for the world. Jenny and I flew to Pryor so I could be by her bedside. Even then, I was conflicted between past and present, between my family and my future. Knowing my grandmother didn't like Jennifer, I nonetheless escorted her into the hospital room to sit with me. Seeing my grandmother dying was difficult for me to face. I needed Jenny's support, and I said so. Mama, I said, motioning towards Jenny, this is the woman I love. Rather than respond, she reached out and touched my overcoat. Now, let me tell you something, because Richard Pryor is so self-served and self-absorbed, he didn't understand what was happening. So what he said while he was in the hospital, his grandmother had reached for an overcoat, the overcoat that she actually bought him, right? His thought was, Mama, are you cold? Do you need a blanket? It took for Jenny to explain, no, your mama is not cold. She's showing affection. That is how she shows affection, by touching a piece of you, okay? And not all people get that. 5 years earlier, I had looked out from the cover of a record album with a funny face and a wry look in my eyes and said, that nigga's crazy. It had been a joke. But after Mama died, nothing struck me as funny. The world was mine. My concert movie, Wanted, was an instant smash after opening in October. Reviewers seemed grateful that after so many big screen misfires, my brand of humor had finally been successfully captured on film. Then Hollywood, which loves a hit movie, also seemed to rediscover me. Projects were heaped at my feet. A sequel to The Sting with Lily Tomlin. Neil Simon wanted to write Macho Man for his wife, Marsha Manson, and me. Producer Ray Stark brought me to the toy and family dreams. Through my own deals with studios, I talked about developing a movie based on George Orwell's Animal Farm. Y'all, listen, I don't know if your high school did this, but we couldn't get out of a DC public school if you didn't read that goddamn book, Animal Farm, okay? But how did I get out of high school not reading the book Animal Farm? I don't know, but you couldn't get out of it without reading Animal Farm. But how was I able to get out of high school without reading Animal Farm? I don't know. With my final year, I was lunching that final year. I told y'all I had went the whole year with all Fs because I was lunching my final year. They put my best friend out of Roosevelt and threw her down there. Well, not BFF, but another good Judy, and threw her down there to Cardozo. I was by myself. I hated school. Like, y'all done took all the fun out of school because they wouldn't let my best friend back in, you know. And everybody, all the teachers was trying to say, she's not good news, baby. You need to stay away from her. How is that when, I'm not no follower. Ended up that my good Judy ended up severely addicted to drugs. But I wasn't going to be addicted to drugs. I wasn't going to do that. I was also offered the lead in film based on the life of jazz great Charlie Parker. but it seemed too much to handle. Instead of taking advantage of being a hot commodity, I was awash in a depression which had crashed over me following Mama's death. I truly felt as if I was flailing underwater, stuck in a surreal nightmare. He ended up going to Africa, okay? He learned a lot there, right? He saw the power within himself over in Africa, because over in Africa, it's different there. You know, literally there are kings and queens that are our color over in Africa, right? Shit, it's kings and queens here, okay? All the kings is around here marrying and, you know, escorting the Real Housewives of Atlanta, so they everywhere. Richard Pryor did not see any niggas while he was there in Africa. He shunned the word because he was like, wait a minute, these ain't niggas in Africa. These is kings and queens in Africa. I'm not using that word no more. Self-deprecating. But guess what? The audience wasn't feeling it. Huh? A Richard Pryor that doesn't use the N-word? Something ain't right about this. So you can cuss, you can talk about my mama, you can talk about, you know, sleeping with trans women, but you're not going to use the word injure. You know? It gave us so much power before, but now you want to take away the power? Okay? Because that's what, to me, some people do. You use something that is hurtful and you switch it and you make it powerful. And that's what I believe black folks were doing at the time, especially around the 60s and 70s when it came to black television. Because we know shows like The Jefferson and Sanford and Son used the N-word regularly, okay? Now, you can't let them white folks use it on us, but... you know, it was used regularly on black television. I left Africa regretting ever having uttered the word ninja on stage or off it. It was a wretched word. Its connotation weren't funny, even when people laughed. To this day, I wished I'd never said the word. I felt its lameness. It was misunderstood by people. They didn't get what I was talking about. Neither did I. I wish that I kept my mouth shut, but that was a hard thing to do, an impossible thing to do. It wasn't too late, though, and so I vowed never to say the word again. I didn't expect the reaction I got when I disavowed the word ninja. Mooney and David told me that people thought I'd gone soft, sold out, turned my back on the cause, and all the political militant shiz. I received death threats. Kooks showed up at my house, threw shit over the gate. I got letters and comments from people who thought they owned me and didn't want me to stray. Didn't I tell y'all when you a public figure, people think they own you? They think they can say anything to you, like they round here paying a goddamn bill just because you hit the play button on your YouTube. People think they can do anything to you. And as soon as you don't go with their program, child, ooh, you're public enema number one. It wasn't the same as the struggle I had with my family when they said, don't forget about where you come from. They wanted my voice to be theirs, and they didn't want mine to change. Confused, I squandered away this summer, working 2 days for $50,000 on the lame comedy In God We Trust, and preparing for a major role co-starring with Cicely Tyson in Family Dreams, later retitled Bustin' Loose. Neither picture, when it came to facing facts, was of the caliber I should have been doing if my head hadn't been lost in a haze of vodka, booger sugar, and anger. Before we leave, it's astounding to me that all the movies that he's speaking of, that he says is not of any substance, to me are like his best movies. I haven't recalled him speaking of any movie that was his best work, besides like one of his stand-up comedy albums, okay? One or two of his stand-up comedy albums. But Bustin' Loose was great to me because, man, the fact that they touched on that little girl being Vietnamese, and when he had to tell her, look, every man you see, you don't have to fuck. Do you understand that? Just because he's a man, it don't mean that you have to fuck him. Profound. not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Now remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves. You babies, have a good one. Peace.